Josh McGuire, your time and success in the sport, although recent, it was a few years ago, and fencing as it grows is evolving rapidly. What things are you seeing to be considerable differences from when you were competing as a top athlete to now?
Parry repost from close distance. That's one thing that's almost disappeared. I used to be able to parry in the last second, and then even if they're right up against me, you can just hit them in the back. You couldn't do that anymore, right? You'll never get a light. So if you parry from close distance, it's all these delayed reposts, and it's just a different approach. Not necessarily, if you're good at it and you're used to it, then there's no disadvantage, right? But,
and what do you feel is most influencing that kind of difference?
Okay, I sound a little bit old school because I'm referring to sort of old and new fencing. The change happened 12 years ago, 13 years ago, right? But it's sort of taken a while for all this stuff to kind of, and that's, most of my fencing was from that, yeah. So, and it's also been evolving that entire time. And so like the speed of the finish has sort of, it really changed a while ago, and now it's slowly reverting back. So all those things that you used to see, more fluid movement, bouts going to 15 touches almost every single time. So you start to see some of the fencing from like 10 years ago, because it really takes 10 years to get comfortable with anything, any sport, even a coach, an athlete. It takes a long time to perfect something. And I think now that we're seeing finally the end result. So like the coaches have had enough time to digest the timing and all of that, and to give their fencers confidence enough to like come forward and make strong attacks and like finish with flicks, not just the wreck, making attack remise and counterattack all the time. So it's getting a little bit nicer, and I'm comfortable with that because it's more what I'm used to.
All right, excellent. And as far as looking at the past, the present, how about the future? What do you see as far as the direction fencing is going?
Well, I mean, the Americans are taking things in a very good direction. So I see.
In what way? Like moving the sport forward, or just stylistically?
Stylistically.
Some people critique that.
No. I'm all about pragmatism when it comes to fencing. I love the technique and all of that, but there's nothing.
And getting
wrong.
The light on.
Yeah, but personally, I don't see anything wrong with the Americans' technique. I think it's quite nice. It might be different, but I mean, like, if it works really well, then it's beautiful to me. And so they have changed things. Greg has sort of stirred things up a little bit. Really, like you see a lot of fencers from other parts of the world doing that, right?
And other countries training there. Most notably, James Andrew Davis of Team GB.
Yeah. So I mean, like everyone around the world's given that credit, and they see what they've done. And so not only just that, but I mean, as a result of these sort of coaches coming in, and some of the Russian, Ukrainian coaches have really like contributed to the strength as well. But all of that together has just created this powerhouse country, which is really exciting as a Canadian, because we're usually kind of like a generation behind, but now there's enough interest, and I'm really hoping that it will start to be seen as more of a mainstream sport in Canada as well.
And of course, sharing the border, many Canadians have the opportunity to advance their careers through the NCAA circuit here. Training, Eleanor Harvey and her other teammate, Goldie, of course, training at Ohio State, among so many others, able to then bring that back to Canada and their national teams.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, a pleasure and happy coaching.
You too, Spencer. Thank you.